Good morning, everyone. We are continuing here in the words of the Beis Halevi and his Emunah Bitachon. And the Beis Halevi introduced this idea that the weaker one's Emunah and Bitachon is, the less worthy they are of receiving Nisim Galuyim, open miracles. And the reason is because it would take away their Bechira, their free will. You would end up believing in Hashem, you would end up being Beiteach b'Hashem because you see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does miracles. And you wouldn't do it because you worked deep inside of yourself to pull out the well springs of Emunah and Bitachon that are in you to encourage you to make the right decisions in life based upon faith and trust instead of on all the other different things that are pulling us in many directions that cause us to make wrong decisions. And therefore, in the earlier generation, says the Beis Halevi, where their Emunah was ironclad, their Bitachon was on the levels, of the highest levels that a person could imagine. So when Hashem would make a nace to facilitate that particular situation, that it should turn out for the best of that person, it did not remove their Bechira, it did not influence their Emunah and their Bitachon in any way that they had not already achieved on their own. And that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu was able to make the Nisim Galuyim. The truth of the matter is that we find by Klal Yisrael, when they were in Mitzrayim for 210 years of back-breaking slavery, until the very end, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not make Nisim, did not make the open miracles. Finally, when Klal Yisrael calls out to Hashem, and he begins bringing one miracle after the other with the Makkahs, with the plagues, does Klal Yisrael see that there's a Rebbeinu Shalom? He created the world, He runs the world, He's the master of the world, He takes care of everyone. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did that as a lesson to the Jewish people, to be mechazik them, to strengthen them, a nation that had lost their Emunah, that had lost their Bitachon. They needed something to jolt themselves out of the reverie that they were in, of the Avodah Zarah, of the assimilation, of the lack of faith in Hashem. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu did that as a jolting experience to wake us up. It's like the person who's lying there who just had a heart attack, Rahman al-Islan, and they bring the machine, the defibrillator, and they begin to shock his heart in order that the heart will once again begin to pump and to beat, and they'll hear beep, beep, they'll hear the sign, the noise that's going on, that is a sign that there is life in this person. So they do a jolting, shocking experience to wake him up. The Makkahs were a jolting and a shocking experience to Klal Yisrael to wake us up out of the slumber, out of the spiritual comatose state that we were in, that for 210 years we were almost denying the existence of a Rebbeinu Shalom. We had become completely immersed in the 49 levels of impurity of Mitzrayim. We were far, far away from what a Yid is supposed to look like. But in general, says the Beis Halevi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't make miracles like that. After such an upheaval of the world, like He did by Yetzias Mitzrayim, after He manipulated the Chukei HaTev, the laws of nature, like He did by Yetzias Mitzrayim, after He made miracle upon miracle in order to elevate the Jewish people out of their slumber of impurity and raise them to the 49th level of Kedusha, of holiness and purity, the miracles that come after that are only going to arrive at a person's doorstep who is already holding on a level of Emunah and Bitachon where they are able to look at the miracle and say, thank you, Hashem. I know that you did that miracle because it needs to be done in order that this will take place or that will take place in the history of Klal Yisrael or my history in my life. But I'm not pinning my Emunah and my Bitachon on you, Rebbeinu Shalom, on your miracles. Rather, I am placing my Emunah and my Bitachon upon you, who I have developed a very close connection with all of the years of my life, going into the deeper depths of what it means to believe in Hashem and what it means to rely and trust upon you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When a person reaches that madrega, when they reach that level of Emunah and Bitachon, then they're worthy of miracles. And he brings a proof to this, because the Gemara tells us over the following story. We find by Rabbi Chanina ben Daisa, the Gemara in Tainus. For those of you who learned Daf Yomi, we had this story recently. Sha'amar misham al Hashem v'yidlaik yoyim al ha'chaymetz v'yidlaik. Famous story. Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa walks into his house on Friday evening, and he sees his daughter in a very sad mood, and he's upset. Why should a daughter be upset coming into Shabbos Kodesh? And he says, Biti, my dear child, what's the matter? And she says, Oy, Abele, I made a big mistake. Shabbos was coming. I was rushing in the kitchen to get the oil into the candles. And instead of taking the olive oil, I poured in chaymetz, I poured in vinegar. And now already Shabbos has begun. It's too late for me to change from the oil back to oil. And therefore, it's not going to light. It's not going to burn. What am I going to do? Abele, it's Shabbos. So Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa looked at his daughter and he says, Biti, my child, my daughter, al tidagi, do not worry. Why? Because as it says, the mi sha'amal Hashem and v'yidlaik, the one who said, HaKadosh Baruch who said that oil should light, yoyim al ha'chaymetz v'yidlaik, let him say that vinegar should burn and light as well. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. The Gemara says, the candles, the vinegar candles burnt all Shabbos long. And this miracle that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made for Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa did not cause any damage to him in weakening his, it did not add any chizuk, any strength into his emunah. Whatever chizuk he might have gotten from this miracle, he already achieved it on his own, through his own hard work and his avodas Hashem. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu made such a miracle. He saw that Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa was a man, and he believed wholeheartedly that there's laws of nature, but those laws of nature are governed by Hashem. And it's a miracle in and of itself that oil burns. So if HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to make the miracle of oil, he can also make the miracle of vinegar burning also. And that way, he showed HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I believe in you wholeheartedly. I'm not asking for a miracle. And in fact, in the eyes of Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa, it was nothing more miraculous than the fact that oil burns, now that vinegar is burning. Maybe perhaps the chiddush over here is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made this based on the words of Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa, but his daughter was the beneficiary as well. That means in the house of Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa, where you pass down the Emunah, and you pass down the Bitachon, and all the father had to say to his daughter was, my dear child, don't be upset. You know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes a miracle every single time that He allows oil to light. That's also a miraculous thing. That's the way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world. So my child, don't worry, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can make the vinegar burn as well. And it would come out according to the Beis HaLevi that even for his daughter, it didn't add any chizuk, any more strength into her emunah. It just revealed to her the way that a person is supposed to look at HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the way that He runs the world. When a parent, when a Rabbi, when an older siblings brings that emunah into the bayis, into the house, and they talk like that and they live like that, you see from this Gemara has the koyach to be mashpia, has the strength to influence the children as well, that they should also learn the beautiful world of emunah and bitachon. Have a wonderful day.